Before we get to Facebook, I think you had a comment on Apple just now.
Well, I would just say I really agree with what Krish was talking about relative to Apple. I think the one thing we have to watch out for as investors is what is going on inside China. Because right now there's restricted movement and obviously, I think a great deal of fear, legitimate fear about what this means inside China. And I think it's put a lot of pressure on the government. And right now they're trying to isolate people. They're trying to protect the country from further outbreaks. But I think the lack of information is almost certainly going to create issues. That's why, if I were Apple, I would be cautious about the demand side of this, because I think people are going to be legitimately concerned about, social interaction.
Even after they get the okay.
Well, I just think the okay will initially be something they may be skeptical about, simply because there hasn't been
a lot
transparency,
of trust built.
Right? I just think this is the issue with President Trump's whole nationalist strategy, is that it reduces trust, and we need trust for trade. You need trade in order to have great markets. And so when trust breaks down anywhere, there are ripple effects everywhere.
All right. As far as Facebook goes,
yeah.
For people who missed all of this commentary over the weekend, what should they know?
So here's the key thing. Mark Zuckerberg came out with an op-ed. Facebook comes out with a large post in which they're talking about it's important for governments to come in and provide some sort of regulatory framework. As always, the thing is framed in a way that's extremely convenient to Facebook. And this time, European regulators barely missed a beat before they came in and said, this is nonsense, you're talking about the wrong stuff. I think the European Union is in a position where Mark's best move now is to concede something substantive, which is to say they have this change in election advertising, to sit there and say, I'm sorry, you're right, we do need to have fact-checking of ads. There are a whole set of things going on at Facebook, whether it's Libra, whether it's, their attempts to merge the data sets of the various products, all of which your regulators are really concerned about. And if Mark were smart, I think he would concede a couple of those things right now in order to buy himself time in order to repair regulatory relationships.
All right, that would be a huge reversal.
It would be huge. No. I'm saying I'm not expecting it to happen.
Why would you say you don't think this is going to happen?
Well, my point is, if it doesn't happen, then they're setting up a confrontation where Facebook is in a uniquely horrible position, because they're basically challenging governments to regulate them. And the EU, clearly, from a political point of view,
going to call your bluff.
And the EU has nothing to lose by going after them with hammer and tongs, right? And so, do they have the power to pull it off? Mark's making the bet that no, they do not. But I think this is a very tough situation, because it's not like nothing is going on here. You have states spinning up regulations. You still have the Federal Trade Commission and especially the Antitrust Division of the Justice Department, who have, I think, begun processes that, as they gain momentum, will be very hard to stop.
But if I'm arguing Mark Zuckerberg's side here, I'll say, well, I tried being tentative before, kind of making conciliatory moves toward governments like the EU, didn't get me anywhere. And that's why I made the statement earlier this year that from here on out, it's not about being liked, it's about being understood. I'm going to stake out Facebook's position, and I'm just going to drive it home with the best arguments and all the powers that I can muster. That seems to be the direction that he's going in.
Well, and looking at the stock price, it has clearly worked. Now, the EU is saying, we're done with that phase. We're entering a new phase. And the question is, does Mark persist with the strategy that got his stock to here, that got him to here, or does he listen to the feedback from the EU and say, okay, time for another plan? There are still things I can see that do not destroy my business model. Right? This is a question of whether he wants to make a strategic retreat, or does he want to die on this particular hill?
You think he could do that by region? Could he change the rules in Europe? Would that make sense for him from an optics standpoint?
I think his issue is he wants to be automated globally. All the pressure for global regulation is based on staying consistent with his business model. So I think if you look at things like political advertising or the merging of the data sets, those are things he would have to do globally. In fact, I think he'd have to do them globally in order to get the political benefit he's looking for. But again, I think it's a question of, if he's sitting there saying, I am not going to accept any criticism or pushback from governments, that's sort of where he is today. That is a position that, invites challenge.
Yeah, I mean, I think to your point, this idea of globally, I mean, one of the other things he mentioned in his FT op-ed is that they would support the OECD's efforts to create a fair global tax rule for the internet, that so-called digital sales tax as well. How much do you think the messaging, the commentary from Zuckerberg over the weekend was really geared towards Europe versus, say, the U.S. or some of these other marketplaces?
It feels like it's totally geared towards Europe, but at the same time, it sounds and looks as though the Europeans went, sorry, wrong answer. Go home, do your homework, come back with a better answer.
Finally, Soros.
Yeah.
I mean, shouldn't he be excised from this debate, or do you applaud him weighing in?
I totally applaud him. This is a topic that he has been front and center on since the beginning of 2018, and he has put a tremendous amount of effort into understanding it for the same reason that we were talking about China before. These are global issues, and he is somebody who has very strong feelings about how global markets operate, and I think he believes with a lot of justification that the power imbalance enjoyed currently by internet platforms like Google and Facebook is a threat to normal functioning of capitalism globally.
I guess my question is his commentary, has it become so politically loaded, his name so politically loaded, that when he does weigh in, it ends up being counterproductive? Oh, if Soros likes it, then I'm against it.
But not in Europe. So that may be true in the United States, but I think in Europe he has enormous credibility, particularly given that what he is saying is precisely what the European regulators are also saying. I think what he is doing is giving them both air cover and support. But these questions, I think Facebook has done a great job of playing regions against each other. And the question is that still working or not? And at least in Europe, it sure doesn't feel like it.